How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. And she be some India Pale Ale time, some extra hopped India Pale Ale time in the form of the Vale Brewing's Henry. Uh, yeah, first Vale review. Not too far away from me, these guys are. But you know, they come and go in my area. I'm not really a big kind of beer trader, beer clamoring guy, but I was lucky enough to be able to procure a couple beers from a journey from a local beer person. Let's just put it that way. And yeah, words. Let's see what this sucker has. As far as what it says on the can, it's sweating, which means this is not super duper cold. It's just bonkers hot out. It says Henry from Monkish. We'll get to that in a second. On the back here it says, "Keep cold, drink today. Recycle or die." Brewed and canned by Vale, Richmond, Virginia. Double hopped India Pale Ale. Anyway, 5.9% alcohol by volume, and that'd be that. Label-wise, I really fucking like it. It's kind of reminds me kind of like Warholish kind of artwork. I really dig the can. You know, a lot of these like super new school, like Uber, Dialed to 11 hipster breweries, Vale kind of falls into those. As far as the common day, you know what I mean, brewery goes when it comes to like can releases and people freaking out for sticker cans. They kind of get a little bit too, I don't know, something. But this one just fucking works for me. I don't know what it is. But anyway, Henry from Monkish. Henry from Monkish is the person that owns Monkish Brewing. I've got a couple Monkish beers, I think. I know I have, actually. And this is weird because this is not a collaboration beer. It's just a, I guess they're just dudes. They're dude bros. They're friends, and they just wanted to make a beer as an homage. You know, as a kind of, hey man, there you go. Which isn't too weird. I mean, a lot of beer comes from that. You know what I mean? A lot of beers are copied. Not even, and do not give credit, but the whole shtick of this one, I believe, is they took some of his favorite hops and some of his favorite yeasts and kind of made an extra hopped India Pale Ale out of it. Now, Monkish originally started off as, and it's, you know, obviously it's a Vale review, so I shouldn't go too far into Monkish, but they started off without making any IPAs. They actually said, we will never make an IPA, or IPAs are bad, or whatever. Obviously, they changed their tune, so if this goes where I think it's going to go, hopefully it goes in a more Belgian kind of yeast realm, because they used to be just kind of Belgian-influenced beers, so we'll see. Anyway, you can't see it, but it started off pretty creamy, but it's starting to settle down to rockiness. The beveling on this head is crazy. It's probably about that deep. Like I said, there's no way for you to see it unless I pick the camera up, and I'm not going to do that. You know, just off weight here, and yeah, that's a soft kind of milky, creamy, lactose-like kind of grapefruit juice. I'm not saying there's lactose in the beer. There isn't. It just has that kind of white opaquishness to it. Usually a good indicator for me, as far as my taste going when it comes to these kind of IPAs and extra hop kind of things, mabobs and whatnots. See if we can get a nose on her. You know, she has that extra kind of dry hop vibe to it. You're getting that kind of really grainy, really kind of fresh, kind of ground, kind of stocky, kind of viney kind of hoppiness. It's definitely coming off like harsh, like biting kind of dankness. It's like a dankness, but it's not like a smoked and you're exhaling weed kind of dankness. It's more of like literally like a ground keefy kind of super greeny dankness. There's you know fruits there now the whole thing. There's a nice sweetness in there, nothing overly sweet, but there's this kind of generic melon vibe to it. This kind of pseudo-tropical fruit kind of melon vibe to it. With those kind of fresh, greeny, stocky, really fresh kind of hoppiness to it. Nice sweetness to it. She smells a lot like a lot of the beers that people are trying to make nowadays, but at the same time, a little bit better in the nose than most of them. So, let's just dive in. Cheers. Okay. Well, you know, based off the nose and based off my hopes, just give me what I want. That hop is coming off even more greeny, even more fresh. even more like particulate. Like it's like the hop is so. It's almost like it's imparted in the beer without actually being put through any kind of process. It's almost like a part of the beer, but at the same time there's small bits and pieces of the hop itself kind of floating around in there. It's that green. I'm not saying that's what it is. There's no grittiness. There's no like chunkiness in the mouth. I'm saying it's the taste is more like you're actually kind of licking kind of like a hop keefiness, powdery kind of substance. It definitely comes off more bitter than I even thought it would based off of the nose. But it's not a super kind of like piney bitterness. It's more of like that kind of grain bitterness combined with a super dryness from the yeast. I mean, it's a super hazy beer. I'm assuming there's, that yeast is, I'm hoping some kind of, not hoping. I'm guessing it's more of kind of a northeast kind of yeast. I don't think it's a Belgian style yeast, even though, like I said, Monkish is typically kind of like, we're kind of freak out over Belgian beers. It's not coming off Belgium. I'm not getting any kind of those kind of, yeasty kind of esters that you typically get off of a lot of Belgian yeast. It's more of kind of northeast, kind of Vermont style yeast that's super dry with a little bit of nondescript kind of like soft. And when I say fruitiness, it's like a yeast fruitiness, not an actual fruitiness. It's like sometimes when you eat like a raspberry or you eat like a blueberry or some kind of wild pick berry, there tends to be a huge kind of amount of yeast coating that. And when you get it, you get this kind of powdery yeastiness. If anybody has ever done that, I've eaten my fair share of wild berries in my life. It's that kind of yeastiness to it. Like I said, the bitterness comes off more than I expected based on the nose. The melon vibes that I was getting in there, a little bit less. It's nice. It's tasty. It has a nice kind of hop bite, hop greenness. Some would call like a hop kind of burn. And I'm just a sucker for dry yeast. And it's nice. Super easy drinking. I mean, it's sub 6%, so hats off to them for not really going apeshit on the ABV, which a lot of dudes usually do. And it's a really nice beer. It's an homage beer. It's a tip of the cap beer. You know what I mean? If they're doing this for their best bud, as they would put it, I'm sure they chugged a bunch of beers together, and this is probably the flavor profile that he really digs. And I could see that. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's a balanced. Put it that way. It's a balanced, super hopped forward beer, and it sounds kind of silly. Thinking about that because when you're talking about your extra hops, they call it double hopped, extra hopped, whatever you want to call it. You're talking about an overt amount of hops thrown in there to kind of throw in this super impactful amount of hops to where it kind of shows off. And while that's the case, to a point, it's still cohesive enough in the beer. It's still rounded enough to kind of let the beer kind of not get out of control. It's not just a delivery system for dry hopping. It's the dry hopping is the creme brulee portion of the show. It's that little burnt sugar on top that just adds to the dish in a good way. I like it. I dig it. I'm a fan. Let's put it that way. So yeah, recap. That kind of greeny, super greeny, weedy, kind of weedy, stocky bitterness from nose to the mouth. Nice mouthfeel to it. Nothing chunky, nothing too kind of chalky. Just a super dryness that comes from the yeast in a really good way. And a nondescript kind of fruit kind of floating throughout. A little bigger in the nose, a little smaller in the mouth. And just really nice. Even though it is a bit of a roller coaster ride, I would say as balanced as you can get with a lot of these kind of extra hopped monstrosities. So let's talk about it. It's one of the better extra hopped pale ales. They call it an Indian pale ale. Which one is it? Actually, yeah. Probably not the best, but up there in conversation. There's ones that strike better chords with me, but this one, its balance really works for me. So I'll definitely go yes on this one. Value and availability, don't know. I actually paid kind of like single price, shuttled in kind of stuff, so I probably overpaid it, paid a little bit, but I think they're right around like $14 to $16 a 4-pack, which is market value. And just say if you like what, you like this. If you like well-made beer, if you like dry yeast in your beer, if you like a balance, even though that, oxymoron with the whole double or extra dry hopping thing, it's as balanced as you're going to get with your extra dry hop beer. So, yeah, pretty tasty stuff. Awesome can art. And who doesn't like it when someone gives a little tip of the cap to somebody, a little homage? Obviously, the breweries dig each other, so that hurts a marketing ploy. Either way, I dug it, so Anyway, there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did or didn't, down there, words and stuff, rate things. All the social medias, Massive Beers. All one word, just write it in there and you find me. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice Veil beer right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.